Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Bill Craner Report with my friend Dwayne Weiss. And we're here to amuse you, entertain you, educate you.
Even maybe not irritate you.
Yeah.
But we can't guarantee you that.
Can't guarantee you that. I got something I got in the sports section of the Globe. And I really, this made an impact on me.
Okay.
The obituaries. So, in the obituaries in the Globe on February 25th, 4 World War II vets died.
Mm-hmm. You know, my wife thinks I'm nuts because I'll be sitting in the morning and I read the paper and I lay it out on the table. She said, "Are you looking at the obituary?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I just scan it because every so often I find one of my old accounts has died." I said, "God, I didn't even, I knew that guy for years and there he is. He's gone."
Yeah. I found my best friend in high school.
In the
In the obits.
Yeah.
I had lost track of him, and he died out in California.
I find some of my old accounts. I thought they were too mean to die.
He finally bit the bullet.
I guess.
So we have here James Cifrino. Died at the age of 94. He entered Harvard University in 1943. Before entering Harvard University in 1943, he enlisted in the U.S. Army and served during and after World War II in Philippines and Japan. Returned to Harvard in 1946. He joined at the age of 17.
Yep.
Bob Crenich, 94, passed away. He enlisted in the U.S. Navy in 1943 and proudly served our country on the USS Palaw at the age of 17.
My uncle did the same thing.
George McCarthy, 94, Chelmsford, Mass., died. A World War II veteran, served as a motor machinist on the USS Hilbert, DE-742, from 42 to 46. Didn't give his birth date, so roughly the same age, 17,
yeah,
when he went in. This is the one that John Squire, aged 93, from North Weymouth. John was a World War II veteran and enlisted in the U.S. Navy at the age of 16.
Probably he either lied or he got permission or waiver on.
No, he probably lied.
Probably lied. A lot of them
Used
didn't.
his brother's birth.
They didn't
No.
scan that too close.
He participated in the landings at Normandy on D-Day at the age of 17.
It's amazing, isn't it? The age, what today, you look at a 17-year-old kid, and criminy sake, some of them can't handle anything.
Can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
These guys were like adults already, going into the most riskiest, life-threatening situations you've ever seen.
Imagine landing at Normandy at the age of 17.
That's right.
You know, when you read this and reflect on it, you can understand with what they saw why they chose not to speak of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I talked to a friend of mine one night that was in Vietnam. Bob was his name. And I said, Bob, I'd love nothing better than to sit down and talk to you about Vietnam. And he said, Bill, he said, you're a good friend. I know why you want to talk to me. But he said, I have spent 40 years trying to forget Vietnam. He said, I don't want to remember it. Landing at D-Day, age 17.
My mother's brother graduated from high school on Saturday. And on Monday, he was on a bus going to Great Lakes Naval Training. And he wouldn't be 18 until that fall.
Yeah.
And all he wanted, he had signed up already 6 months. It was called deferred enlistment or something.
Yep.
And he had signed up for 6 months already prior to that. He was only 16 probably when he signed up. And he ended up going to Great Lakes and then ended up on USS Bunker Hill, an aircraft carrier. And they got into, I know the big battles was Okinawa, because his ship got hit by the kamikazes. And they lost 300-400 men on that one. But he just was, I'm going, that's it. It was.
Yeah. And you know, which brings up a good point too, is P-51
The
aircraft.
Yeah.
P-47s, the Corsairs, being flown by 18-year-old kids in combat, aerial combat.
Yeah, one of your magazines.
Yeah.
Today, there was an article about a guy who flew a B-24 Liberators, and he was the boss. He was the pilot, and he wasn't even probably 20 years old.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, even today, though, the areas of responsibility that the military gives young people is not comparable to what industry gives. We used to go to the air show down to Quonset in the spring, usually in June. It's a damn good take.
Yeah.
But, oh, God, there's 100,000 people.
I know, you can't move.
And there was a C-5A. Those are things that are huge. If you've ever seen one of these folks, it looks like a city blocks with wings. It's got 4 big engines, and it's just where the nose opens up, and it can put tanks and buses, and hell, a third of Norfolk could fit in the thing. And my wife said, who flies this thing? I said, well, he does right there, standing by the cargo door. And you could see he had I think he was a captain, and he had the wings on. I said, she says, he's just a kid. I said, he might be, 23, 22, 23 years old, but he's still the pilot. So she'd ask him, and she'd, oh, yeah, and he started.
Those kids won the war.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you were at World War II, if you were 23, 24, they called you Pops.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you were old.
It's amazing the debt, gratitude we owe that generation. They were the greatest generation. Well, what else have we got here? Well, sometimes you read stuff and you just got to feel sorry for people. But,
I see the headlines. I know where you're going.
Lori Loughlin.
Poor baby.
Yeah, Lori spent a heck of a lot of money to send her girls to college, to bribe their way in.
Yeah, not tuition, the bribe.
That's right, the bribe, the fix. $600,000
That's it.
to send her 2 kids to go to Southern Cal, I think it was.
USC.
Yeah, USC, yeah.
I think it was
Yeah,
Southern.
University of Southern California. So it's okay to bribe this coach.
Yep.
Actually, bribed this intermediary who bribed a coach and said, well, we'll put these girls on the rowing team or whatever it
Tennis
was.
team or fencing
Yeah,
team. And
fencing team, yeah. So they got athletic scholarships and got in.
yep.
So it's okay, I guess, to do that, according to some people. And Laurie says she shouldn't be locked up. She doesn't deserve jail time.
She didn't do anything
How many kids did they push further down the ladder
Yep.
that couldn't get in?
That couldn't get in. That's exactly right. You're displacing some other qualified,
Yep.
well-meaning, deserving candidate
Yeah.
by your own
Selfishness.
selfishness,
Yeah.
stepping in line in front of everybody.
And it's like royalty, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we deserve this. It's
But our whole society is inbred with this,
madness.
this privilege.
Yeah.
Whether it be a sports figure or a celebrity, a Hollywoody type like this, or a politician. When it comes to what normal people can do and what they can do, it's two different sets of norms. Look, something stupid like, and it's not stupid, but it's something simple. Let's take the Super Bowl or the World Series. World Series, you might have been the most loyal Red Sox ticket holder that there was. They make the Reds by some miracle. They get back into the World Series. Chances are you're not going to get your seat. You're
No,
going to be lucky if
John Kerry will be sitting in.
Yeah, you'll be lucky if you get a seat at all on the top of the bleachers someplace.
Standing room only.
Or you might not get one at all. And then they'll pan who's there. Like John Kerry, Mayor Walsh, various celebrities, all the Wahlbergs, all
Speaker of the House.
and his
Senate
cronies.
President. Yeah.
So most of them had never been to a game in their life or haven't been there in years. Yeah. All of a sudden, they're taking somebody else's seat because they are privileged.
Oh, and John Kerry. Take a picture of me with the beer and hot dogs in my hand.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm part of the happening scene. It's absolutely ridiculous. But you know what? Until ownership decides to do something about it, but they're in bed with those people.
Of course they are.
I mean, I need a zoning change for a bigger parking lot. And
what do you
Mayor
want?
Walsh,
What do you want?
Yeah, you know, so I'm going to put Mayor Walsh right down front.
Yep.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, it's not unbelievable. Unfortunately, it's very believable. America's youth is losing interest in freedom. Now, I got some scary stuff for you. In a recent Pew Research Center poll, 40% of Democrats aged 18 to 29 expressed preference for Senator Bernie Sanders to be the party's candidate, compared with 25% of those 30 to 49, 13% of those 50 to 64, and 10% 65 and over. In a Gallup poll, 51% of those aged 18 to 39 expressed a positive view of capitalism. A 51% positive view of capitalism and a 49% positive view of socialism. And as you aged, you became less interested in socialism, but more in capitalism.
Well, of course. Look at Bernie's crowd or his audience.
Mm-hmm.
They suck that stuff up hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah.
Oh, free this and free that. Oh, this is great. We don't have to do this. And we'll remedy this and remedy that. Because they don't think about it any further past than what their own little personal involvement is.
Niall Ferguson of Stanford University's Hoover Institute said These kids face stagnant real wages and carry a large burden of student debt, they say. It's a generation to whom little has been given and to whom much is expected.
Yep.
That same generation went off to World War II and won the war. These spoiled brats are complaining. Interesting. They ran some other statistics. When Kennedy ran for president in 1960, America's youth still faced a military draft, and 72% of Americans over 80 were married, compared to 50% today. According to Pew, 78% of those 18 to 29 say it's acceptable for an unmarried couple to live together. And there's been a tremendous drop of 16% among those aged 23 to 39 who identify as Christians. So the times, they are a-changing.
Boy, they sure are.
And they sum it up by saying we have a generation of American youth today who have grown up in a culture of legal abortion and same-sex marriage with little sense of responsibility to God and country.
No accountability either.
That's right. Yep, it does not bode well for the future.
And if you read some of these articles, like this was local. It said a teen arrested for shoplifting, fleeing in a lift car gets a break.
Yeah.
She's shoplifting. She's from Rhode Island, I believe. And she steals a bunch of stuff from Dick's Sporting Goods, and a couple others. They catch her. They chase her in a car, I guess, after she got a lift ride. But this judge says, "Oh, you poor thing. You're just an innocent person."
Why did you steal? I was hungry.
Oh no, she didn't give a lie. But she said, "Oh, I would never. I was just accidental." She had a boost bag. All of them did. Boost bag, folks, is a special item that they stick merchandise in to conceal it, and they usually, when you got these detectors, when you walk out the door, they detect a tag or something on it. These things are supposed to seal that, so you feel it, so they can't set off the alarms. She was carrying a boost bag and had the stuff stuffed in there, but she didn't intend to steal anything. That boost bag just happened to jump in her clothes.
Yeah.
The other stuff just jumped in there.
Right
Now,
off the shelf.
Here's where it gets really stupid and frustrating. A week before her arrest, she was placed on probation for shoplifting, and a case continued without a finding. Then before that, a month before that, she was held pending a probation violation. The judge also declined to enter a guilty finding in that case too, entering her name, admission that she unintentionally violated her probation. Do you know what happened to this young lady?
Oh, I don't know. She's probably valedictorian.
Nothing.
Yeah.
She was let go.
Walked.
Even though this is third or fourth case
that we know of, put on probation, violated the probation, put on probation again, violated it again, then went and stole this stuff, and now she just, no consequences, walked. This is a judge that from the Attleboro District Court, a lady named, let's just leave it. It's the lady judge in Attleboro District Court. Well,
didn't have the cajones, of course not, but she didn't have the backbone to say, "Hey, young lady, you're heading for big trouble here."
There's no accountability with these kids.
She was not helping this individual by letting her go again.
How old was she?
This kid was 18.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great chance to teach her a lesson.
That's right.
But there was no lesson being taught.
Oh, you taught her a lesson, all right.
All right, yeah.
If you can get away with this, you might as well just keep doing it. There's a common theme, not a theme, a common belief, quite frankly, it's true, in Rhode Island and New York and other states, that if you're going to shoplift, go to Massachusetts. Because they don't particularly see shoplifting as a crime. Yeah. Now, you got Miss Rollins, Rachel Rollins, I think her
Yep.
name is, the new DA in Suffolk County, she will not prosecute
That's right.
shoplifting
She
crimes,
said she won't.
particularly people of color.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why these Rhode Islanders think they want to go to Emerald Mall or the outlet place
I know
and
it.
steal. Why don't you just go 20 miles up the road into Suffolk County? You got a free pass. Take whatever you want.
And then, when Walmart hires security specialists,
Yep.
and they try to enforce their company's wishes by stopping people from stealing, they are castigated
That's right.
for Gestapo-like tactics.
Yeah. On the same token here, our governor proposes lowering transit fines for fare evasion.
Yeah.
And in fact, people of color, he doesn't want to fine them at all, and they can't arrest them anymore. If you tell the general public, we won't arrest you for fare evasion, who in the hell's going to pay the fare? You might as well just jump under that or climb under that bar or slide over it. If you're young enough to do it, they're going to do it. And now they got a green light. And then you're going to complain, well, the T doesn't have any money, we don't have money. You're losing millions of dollars a year.
Do you know we talked about the broken glass theory?
Yeah, or the broken window. Yeah.
Of law enforcement.
Yep.
Okay, you deal with the little matters, and the big matters will take care of themselves.
Ignore the little matters like the broken window in the
There you
neighborhood.
go. And what happens? They grow up
Grows
to
and
be
grows,
big
yep.
problems. Yeah.
But we don't seem to see that here.
I don't understand this whole idea. We don't want them in prison. They're our children. They should be out beginning their careers. And what good is it going to do to put them in prison? Well, it's going to stop the stealing, perhaps.
And you may be saving their life
That's exactly right.
because,
Yeah. If they take some courses while they're behind bars.
or say, I don't want to do this before I get in serious trouble. A lot of these kids that get shot in some of the streets of Dorchester or Roxbury
Yep.
at 2 o'clock in the morning, gets a bullet through his head. He didn't just start out doing this. He's been doing this stuff for 12, 13, 14 years old, and nobody ever said, no, you can't do that. We're going to punish you. You're going to see what real life is. He didn't care because he knows he's going to get away with it, and all of a sudden he gets into a situation where legally he could have got away with it, but physically he's not with the other guy because the other guy shot him.
I get a kick out of kick is the wrong word, but I've never ceased to be amazed at Mayor Walsh.
I don't trust him. I don't.
Every time there's a shooting,
Probably won't invite me to a Easter dinner now.
Or a cookout.
Cookout.
Yeah. Every time there's a shooting, he always says the same thing. We cannot tolerate this behavior, and we will not tolerate it any longer.
Yeah. But
All it is just hot air.
hot air.
There is no teeth behind that statement.
Well, with Mayor Walsh, if there's a camera, he's there.
Yep.
Always,
You know,
always patronizing.
he is so transparent. He's, by the way, he's desperately trying to be relevant because he can hear people whispering in back of him.
He hears
plotting.
footsteps.
Yeah, the footsteps are coming.
Oh yeah. And
Question.
I can think of a couple of them that it's going to give him
yeah.
trouble.
Oh boy, are they ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not going to survive it. He's going to get voted out. I don't
Yeah.
give a damn how much patronage he has and how many people he has surrounding him that are ward captains and are going to round up votes. There's a great big bunch of people in Boston that are going to vote in lockstep.
Yeah.
He's going to be out.
Yeah. His union army is not going to protect
it's
him.
not going to save him.
No.
Question. So, the Titanic sunk in 1912.
Yep.
So
April 15th.
there's a group that wants to recover the telegraph from the Titanic.
I thought about that. And go ahead, just tell me about it.
There are people that are very much against it. To us, it's grave robbing. You're disturbing a grave site. Now, if this was a important historical piece, and if there was a memory in it where you could discern events leading up to the sinking or something, but it's not. It's just a brainless poke, 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 poke thing. So, as far as historic is concerned, it's just a 75-pound hunk of metal.
Yeah.
Now, is it grave robbing? Now, that's another subject. I personally feel that that is a massive graveyard, that ship. Those poor people, I don't think, should be disturbed.
I don't disagree with you, because what bothers me, I'm not sure if I'm the fact that you're disturbing them so much, but it's the reason you're doing it.
For profit.
That was exactly where I was going.
Yep.
Some of these things get put in an exhibit for a fee. You come in and see them then. Maybe if this was going to go into a memorial in D.C. someplace in the Smithsonian,
now we're talking.
And where people can see that this is what it was like then, that's a different story. But they usually end up in a pay-per-view exhibit. I've seen a couple of these. I saw one in Vegas.
They charge you a $12 admission charge.
Come in and see it.
So, and then after it's been on display for 4 or 5 years, then they bring in some new stuff to display, and they have an auction and sell it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it brings $49,000 or $69,000. Yeah.
I saw one of these in Vegas.
Yeah.
I forgot the guy's name that went down there with he's a big thing with his underwater stuff. But it was interesting. It was plates and coffee cups and shoes.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of, it's very sobering to see it. But they weren't charging. It was one of the large casino hotels had this as a thing. But I could see where you start exploiting this. And although it wouldn't have been something if I didn't see it. I would have felt left out or I'd missed something.
Yeah.
It would just happen to be there. But it was kind of, I hate to use the word creepy, but it kind of was.
Yeah.
The idea that.
Yeah. I just don't like the idea of it. But to carry it a step further, we're finding submarines.
Yeah.
And we're finding destroyers. We're finding battleships, Japanese, I believe. Now, with some of the equipment we have that can go down a couple of miles, to me, that would be desecration of the dead if we step foot into those ships.
You're right, and here's a good way to look at it. If it was somebody else doing it to a SS Scorpion or one of our ships from World War II, a submarine's a perfect example because they all go down with all hands on board. It's not
That's right.
Went down empty. They usually boom. They all go down. If Japan had won the war, and today there were Japanese divers going down and drilling a hole in the side of these things and taking out stuff for their own displays or whatever, there'd be bloody hell on our part, screaming and yelling about it.
Yep. So it's not right.
Yeah.
And the Japanese honor their dead
Yes, they do.
much more than we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're that ancestor,
Yeah.
a part of the Shinto, the whole thing, the philosophy.
Joe Fitzgerald's an excellent writer for the Herald, and I'm not going to read this article. But the last paragraph is very short, and he talks to a survivor of Iwo Jima. And he did, he said he shared this thought. So many people take their days for granted. I don't do that. They take their freedom for granted too. I don't do that either. Here's a guy that fought for our freedom.
Yeah, we just went by the anniversary of Iwo Jima.
That's right.
A couple of weeks
ago. Yeah. And they had the old Iwo Jima vets into the Boston State
I think that was one of the bloodiest
It was
battles per
It was.
how many participants. It was the whole
Iwo
war.
Jima and then Okinawa afterwards. Okinawa was brutal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But they were both bad. Well, this one here, it's hard to conjure up a lot of sympathy for this guy.
Okay. I've seen a lot of these in this stack here.
Yeah. A California man who said he wanted to fly to the edge of outer space
I brought this one up at breakfast the other day.
to see if the world is round.
Folks, this is true as far as we know.
Yeah.
But this fool has tried something like things like this before.
This almost sounds like something kids doing stupid things. But this guy wanted to fly to the edge of outer space to see if the world was round.
Tell him how he wanted to get there.
Yep.
On a homemade rocket.
home-built rocket. And, Mad Mike Hughes got into the home-built rocket and blasted off into the desert sky and turned right around and plunged back to Earth and was killed.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's tragedy that he got killed, but it's ludicrous what he was doing. This man had he had set some kind of record for jumping a limo or a bus or something before that.
Driving a limo over a bunch of cars, 103 feet in a Lincoln Town Car Stretch limousine. A video shows the rocket taking off with what appears to be a parachute tearing off during the launch. The steam-powered rocket streaks upwards, then takes about 10 seconds to fall straight back to Earth. Shrieks can be heard as the rocket plows into the desert.
This was just to give him an advantage point so he could see if the Earth was really round.
Oh, boy. Well, here's another good tale. And this one is pitiful also.
Okay.
A fellow down in Norton, 38 years old, died in an explosion in his house. He was cooking methamphetamine.
Meth.
Yeah.
Of all the warnings, of all the news things about cooking meth, how dangerous it is, those chemicals to mix together, they're still doing it. I think more and more.
I think so too. And this meth now is the drug of choice out in the Midwest.
Yeah, it is.
It's coming this way, obviously. Gee, won't it be good to have this in the neighborhood?
It's more addictive than the heroin.
And it drives you nuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It physically destroys you.
Yeah.
You see some of these people, and they got sores on their faces, and their teeth have fallen out. And
Oh, yeah, the teeth especially.
yeah.
I mean, my sons and I went out one night to a restaurant, and the waitress came over and waited on us. She was gaunt looking, but the teeth gave her away.
Mm-hmm.
And when she walked away, Patrick said to Peter, what a meth head, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You watch some of these cop shows like that, PD Live. They'll stop somebody. You know they've been smoking meth. They can't stop moving.
I know it.
They're on and on and on, and it's just like it's pathetic.
In fact, excuse me for a second. If I look at my driver's license and see if I've got an up-to-date one here, the one with the star on it, and doesn't.
Up in the right-hand corner.
Yeah, it doesn't look like I do.
It's not very visible. Let me see. No, you don't.
No.
It should be right there.
Yeah. Well, guess what, folks?
Is that coming due? Well, you're going to have to get it soon, probably sooner. Anyway.
21.
Okay.
But I got it. I got it revised to show the veteran hat on it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll be having to renew this in 2021. Now I'm not planning on taking any flights.
I was going to say, if you're going to go earlier than that, I don't know when the deadline is, but it's coming up not too far down the road.
Yep.
Where, in case you somehow missed it, you have to have a enhanced driver's license or ID.
A real ID.
Yeah, it's what they call them, real IDs, to get up to board even an airplane now, or will be in a few months.
And guess what, folks? Research by the Travel Association last fall found an estimated 99 million citizens do not have a real ID, license, or passport.
Putting it off.
Even more troubling, the group said, a majority of Americans, 57%, were not aware that beginning October 1st, they would need a real ID license to board a flight. And also, if you go to do this, be warned. If you've changed your name,
Yeah, ladies, if you
married,
and have a name change,
you got to bring documentation of the change, like a marriage certificate or a court order. And also, if the name is different from on the birth certificate, you're going to have to provide documentation for step A, step B, step C.
Mm-hmm. And make sure your birth certificate has a raised seal.
Yep.
If you've got a birth certificate at home and you just say, well, I'll just run this through the copier
machine,
and I'll take a copy of it.
Work.
No, they want the one with it's got the seal on. They won't keep it. They'll give it right back to you. But
so, in this, I think, we've talked about a national ID. This is going to be a national ID.
Effective is.
But you're going to have to get it. And what they're saying is, if you have travel plans, get it quickly.
Yep.
Don't wait. The lines get longer every day.
Another hint.
Yep.
Belong to AAA, go to AAA and let them
Can do it.
do it there.
Yeah.
But go, don't wait during the day, because even AAA today is getting busy and busy and busy with people trying to do this. But if they open at 8 o'clock, there's nobody there.
Right.
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, there's going to be a line.
Yep. And that's great advice. And AAA up in Franklin does it.
Yeah, that's what
And
we did.
I believe AAA down Westwood does it.
I don't know. I've never been there. We did the one in Franklin.
Franklin,
It was just a walk. It was just like a walkthrough, just boom, boom.
I love this one. You know that people that do ad campaigns are supposed to be super brains?
Oh my God. Speaking of which.
I mean, this one here is
have a couple questions for you.
Unbelievable. Burger King has a time-lapse
that's the one I was going to ask you about.
Of a Whopper. And they just show it on camera for 30 days, deteriorating, and mold growing on it, and it collapses, it rots. Boy, oh boy. Now, what are you going to think of next time you go to have a Whopper?
That just made me run right out to Burger King
Boy,
and buy a
I
Whopper.
was hungry
didn't
for
it?
one of them.
That's the stupidest thing. I think the only thing I can come up with, they were trying to say that they don't have any preservatives in their food.
Well, that's exactly
Isn't
right.
it?
And also that the imitation Whopper doesn't have any of that bad stuff either.
Now, speaking of ads, can you tell me what is going on with that Snickers ad? A big giant Snicker goes along and it drops in a big giant hole.
I have no idea.
I've watched that. I saw it on the Super Bowl. I must have seen it a half a dozen times. Every time I said, I'm really going to pay attention. There's a story. There's something here. It makes no sense. If anybody out there understands it, let us know.
Yeah, please. That would be really great. By the way, here's a picture of Representative Joseph Kennedy. And in one hand, he has a document.
Yes, he does.
And the other hand, he has a document. He did this because a person asked him, I'll bet you couldn't walk and carry a document in each hand all by yourself. And look at him. He's
He did it.
smiling, and he's so proud that he picked up both pieces of paper and walked with them. This lad is worthy to become a senator.
Yeah.
I am so proud of him.
What's that small Jack Daniels sticking out of his pocket, though?
Well, he was policing up in front of the building. Some ruffian dumped it there. Oh, these are voting papers. Look at the look on his face.
Oh, I know.
I'm proud. I did this all by myself. Oh, good Lord.
And who says we don't have royalty?
Yeah, who indeed? Well, all right, might as well get to this one. I was saving this one. I was hoping we'd have a lady sit in with us one of these days.
Yeah,
But we're
somebody out
going to
there,
have to do it.
somebody out there
Somebody's
should
gotta.
come up forward.
My sister will.
Okay.
I was hoping we'd get two. We may have to bring Cheryl on by herself. We can beat her up.
Don't tell her that.
Save the Catholic Church
I
ordained
read that.
women.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yep, I do. As a matter of fact, we have a very good friend that, in fact, officiated at my son's wedding. He was out of the church. He had been a priest. He had been an army chaplain for years, and ended up leaving and getting married. To this day, he'd go back in a heartbeat if they'd changed the rules. And he's got some very strong opinions of why the church has got some problems that they do. Okay.
Oh, I agree with those problems.
Yeah.
What we expect from priests is simply, it runs counter to all urges. It is
That's right.
an impossible task.
And the reason for it today is so archaic
Yeah.
and so old and so related to our society today. It's ludicrous. It's just, we're hanging on to something like that simply out of tradition.
Simply because the popes and the bishops in Rome
Yep.
belong to the men's club.
That's exactly right. There's a conservative group that
That's right.
will not budge on any of these
Yeah.
things.
And look what it's become. It's become a nest of molesters.
Yep.
I mean, look at the numbers around this country
Yep.
of priests
Well,
molesting
you
kids.
draw a certain type of individual for that lifestyle.
That's right.
Now, I don't know if that's in that article or not. One of the counters to the edict or whatever this is called, that you can't, the thing of celibacy,
Mm-hmm.
is that, well, today, one of the popes gave a all in free to Episcopalian priests that
Right.
want to join the other side now. Come into the side.
And bring your
Welcome.
wife. And
Yeah,
bring your wife
bring
with
your
you.
wife and family.
Yeah.
You're welcome. They quoted like 230 some that they were quoted. They had no problem with them. They run perfect normal parishes.
Well-
People love them, and it's not. It just doesn't bear out that they're gonna have. They put their family before the church and all that kind of stuff. Some of that goes back, from what I understand, and I'm not a theologian by any means, is that some of this stuff goes back to ancient times when the Roman Empire actually, and the Catholic diocese, they actually owned the property. You wouldn't have a diocese like you have here, or they actually were the owners, and the people that were in that, they were the serfs or their land, they worked for that church. Well, all of a sudden you started getting priests that had families, and then they started making claim. The kid says, well, I want a certain portion of this. My dad had this, and my grandparents was this. They said, no more claims against the properties. And that's one of the reasons that kind of thing started. There's other reasons, sure, but that's...
Well, they also fall back to Christ was a man.
Yeah.
So it just falls in place that...
as far as ordaining
me.
women, I think that's what that's about, that one.
It
there
is.
about,
It
yeah.
is. And you know...
I don't have any problem with that at all. That's just dumb.
The Catholic Church is in a major crisis in the United States alone. Over 5,000 Catholic priests sexually abused more than 12,000 children. Bishops covered up their horrific crimes. To me, the perverts were bad, very bad.
Oh, yeah.
The bishops were worse.
They're the ones that should have known better.
They are the one that enabled them to continue.
Yeah, exactly.
The all-male priesthood is corrupt, views women as lesser than men, and is not of God. All loving God created women and men of equal worth and dignity and calls both to be priests.
We got 10 here.
There is neither male nor female in Christ. You are one. This is a difficult problem, and not one that is like a light switch that you can flick it, because this is going to change things drastically.
Oh, absolutely. Just like allowing them to marry. That's another.
Well, that's it. You know, are they going to have to continue to be celibate? Is a good question, because celibacy is, look, it's a big problem. However, the solution is going to be very costly. They're going to be men with families. The kids are going to require health care. They're going to require a place to live. They're going to require to be sent to school, to college, da-da.
Episcopalians, Methodists, Lutherans do it every day.
Yep.
They don't have to. It's not an insurmountable problem for them.
You know, they have smaller individual churches.
Which the problem should be even larger. They don't have the financial backing.
It seems like they do a good job of tithing, which is something the Catholics don't do a good job of. And
that may have to change.
That's right. Yeah,
that's right. But
so I will put you down in the let's change over deal.
Yeah, I'm a big Reformationist, so
Wow. And here I thought you were a Republican.
Yeah, well, I am that too.
So here's an update, folks, on an ongoing story. Back when I was writing for the Norfolk Boomerang, I wrote about this man from New York, Robert Durst. Robert Durst is a bad man. And he killed his first, well, they allege he killed his first wife. Then he killed another wife. Then he killed a neighbor down in Houston, Texas. Not sure it was Houston, it was Galveston.
All right, that's just down the road.
Yep. And guess what? That neighbor was a guy that lived in Norfolk by the name of Morris Black. Morris was quite a character. And Durst lived in the same apartment building with Morris Black. And basically, they got into an argument, I guess, and he killed Morris Black and then beheaded him. Threw the body in Galveston Bay. They found the body, but they never found the head. So he's standing trial. And by the way, he's quite a cause celeb on TV. There's been special TV programs about this because the guy is a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Heir to a big real estate fortune. People that own extensive real estate in Manhattan.
This kind of half-ass hooks up what we were talking about before with money and privilege.
Yeah. So they got him again, and they're going to try him again. And so I thought I would update you folks on that situation in case you didn't see it. Maybe we got time to sneak in one more thing here. I'll save this one. It's kind of wordy. PETA, Protection of Animals,
Yeah.
people, says the word pet is derogatory and suggests companion is a much better way.
This is not the first forage into the use of language relating to animals with PETA.
I know.
PETA's been down this road so many times. You don't own a pet. According to them, you can't be a pet owner. You're a pet companion.
Yep.
They are the looniest people sometimes. Their ideas and their basic tenets was probably good when it started.
Yes, I think it was.
It was very admirable, but it took some turns, folks. It took some turns that you wouldn't. I don't think you would probably recognize the original organization.
Yeah, and not only that, but they had some problems with their finances being siphoned off by some members and all that. Yeah, you gotta love them. Now, people satisfied with their life. This is the newest Gallup poll. People satisfied with their life. 84%.
Mm-hmm.
The newest Gallup poll asks the same question.
Yep.
90% of the people are satisfied with their life. Very interesting.
Everybody has something they would change or improve on, but I think that's pretty saying a lot for our modern society today. Everybody has, I could say, would like to be younger, or like to be taller, or have more money or something. That's not, to me, that's not dissatisfied with your life. That's just a wishful thinking.
Something to bitch about.
Yeah, something to complain about. But I think I'm satisfied with what has happened for the most part. We had our ups and we had our downs, but overall, where we're sitting right now, we're not rich by any means, but we're not starving either. So,
except for a couple of three things. I mean, if I had to do all over again, I'd do it all over again.
yeah,
I mean, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I mean,
I would have done some things different.
yeah, I
had a couple of educational opportunities that I passed, which I shouldn't have.
Okay, me too.
You know,
I look back on a couple of things I had wished I had done different. One large thing I wished I had done different, but I spent a good deal of my time from 25 to 30 seeing if I could drink Miller High Life dry, and also gambling. And I wished I had matured a hell of a lot earlier than I did. But I found a wonderful wife. My kids are good. I've been healthy. I've had jobs all my life. I've never been unemployed. It's all worked out. I missed an opportunity. You and I talked about this before. When I had the opportunity, when I was joining the Army, to go to Army Security Agency school. And I messed that one up. And I was being drafted for 2 years. And I sat down with them and they said, we really want you, Bill. Your marks are fabulous on all the tests. This is a great opportunity for you. 26 weeks from now or 30 weeks from now, you're going to be a warrant officer. Finally, I said, damn it, give me the paper, I'll sign. Okay, he said, now initial here, where you're joining, you accept the fact you're joining for 4 years. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. And foolishly,
I signed.
Yeah, foolishly, I didn't do it. I wish to hell I had.
Yep.
But as my wife said,
that's the
you
here
could have ended up face down in a rice paddy
Oh,
in
you sure could have.
Vietnam.
You sure could have.
But I would love to have done it. And I regret not being mature enough and not thinking it through and saying, what is it for 2 years that you're rushing back to here? I mean, you don't have a gold mine.
Now,
in
when
the
you look back
backyard.
at that 2 years, what was the difference? It didn't make any difference.
Yeah.
In fact, I would have stayed if it wouldn't have been for Vietnam. I was on the rotation again to go back, and I didn't want to go back for another one. But hell, I'd have stayed.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I would have never survived it because in 71 or 72, they had a rift, reduction in force.
Yeah.
Once Vietnam was done, and all the services contracted, and they only needed so many people. Well, if you were outside of that on your MOSs, if you weren't a specialty that they needed, it's like getting a pink slip or laid off in an industry. We'd have been gone. We're down to one.
Okay. Well, I regret doing it because I think it would have given me a much better background than driving a school bus around Germany.
But you had a good time.
I did. By the way, Joe Biden said to a lady in New Hampshire, he called her a dog-faced pony soldier.
That's an
Now,
insult to the soldier.
Tell me something. What would happen if President Trump called a woman a dog-faced pony soldier?
Oh, my God.
He would have been lynched.
The Globe and the other newspapers couldn't get a type font big enough.
Absolutely, yeah. And yet Biden, it's all gone. They reported it once.
It don't matter to them.
And now Biden is supposedly leading in South Carolina. Well, we'll see about that. But, well, folks, it's been a pleasure. Oh, one more, and then we'll kiss goodbye. So people were asked what was their favorite food that they would want for a romantic Valentine's Day's dinner. I imagine this was ladies being asked.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want your significant other, what kind of restaurant do you want them to take you to for what? By the way, the number one choice garnered 41%.
Oh, I know mine was seafood.
Pizza.
Pizza? Yeah, I'd go that too. I'm starving for carbs.
I can't believe that. How romantic is a bloody mushroom pizza?
Cheap enough.
I like pizza. Don't get me wrong.
It's perfect food.
Folks, take your significant other out tonight for a romantic dinner of mushroom pizza and report back to us at the next show. Let us know how all that worked out.
Spring for a glass of wine, too.
Beer.
Okay.
Take care. Thank you.